Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with New York Jazz Saxophonist Kevin Sun on his 2021 CD, Heartbird, and this new COVID world we live in. This new album is his ode to Bird, who will celebrate his 101st birthday here in 2021. He took the bebop language of Bird and turned it into a unique take on things. Enjoy the whole story.
Well, thanks for taking a minute out today. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. My pleasure.
You bet. Obviously, we're in the throes here in Kansas City of the 101st celebration of Charlie Parker's life. And you have a brand new album out that is commemorating that anniversary and that spirit of Bird. So talk to me about this project. How did it come about?
I, started digging back into Charlie Parker, say, right before the pandemic last year, say around February or March. And then once things closed down in New York, I really just kind of dug into it, even more so. There really wasn't anything to do. I had listened to a good amount of Charlie Parker growing up, studying saxophone, but there's also a lot more to hear that I wanted to hear. So, and having the internet now, compared to before, when I was finding things on CDs, made it much easier. So I was able to find much more material, recorded material, and, filling out the library of books, the many books that are about Charlie Parker and also some documentaries. It sort of just brought it to life for me again, and then it inspired lots of, musical ideas for new pieces of music that ended up being on this recording.
So talk to me about what it's like to get into someone like Bird. I mean, we all know that he is the magical jazz guru that has brought the world so much joy through a pretty intricate amount of work and compositions. What was it like to delve into all that?
It was just infinitely rewarding and inspiring and refreshing. His compositions, I think just for me, spending time, looking at many of the blues lines that he composed, 12-bar blues compositions, seeing how he was able to just create, seemingly infinite variations. He's kind of just relying on the basic units of rhythm and jazz for swinging, quarter notes and eighth notes, occasionally some triplets. But with that material, he's able to create, lines that are instantly recognizable. A friend of mine put it as pretty much any Charlie Parker melody, written on a blues can be, performed solo by a snare drum or something, and it'll be totally compelling because the rhythm of itself of each line is totally distinctive, has its own fingerprint, unique fingerprint, and, so you can sing a rhythm and a musician will know what the melody is because they can fill in the pitches, It's sort of like that. That really drew me in. Talk
to me about the significance of this annual recognition of Charlie Parker. What's it mean for you in regards to this album as well?
Yeah, I think, as we get farther and farther in time from when Charlie Parker was alive and there are a few people around who, heard him in person, I think it's just invaluable to have a reminder, at least once a year that we do owe a great debt, not just jazz musicians, but just music as a whole and art, really to the innovations that he brought forth for music and for art. Ethan Iverson, this pianist from formerly of the Bad Plus, he often quotes Dewey Redman saying that Charlie Parker sounds better every day, meaning, as our listening and our appreciation of life gets deeper, our appreciation of Bird also deepens, which I'm totally agree with, 100%.
Yeah, I do too. Absolutely. So, you have this new album out. We're in a pandemic, but things are opening up. There's chances for live music. In Kansas City, we're having more avenues for live music to actually celebrate Bird. What does it mean for you? What do you hope it means for all of us to be able to be back into a live environment after we've been away from it for so long?
I think it just really reaffirms the purpose of music, which, I think is a communal experience, best experienced, in person with other people when possible. We just played this great show last night in Manhattan, playing this music basically for the first time for a live audience. I had played it with my friends, over the course of the pandemic, kind of in a restricted fashion, not really for audiences, but just for ourselves. And it was really magical just stepping on a stage and feeling the energy, kind of the exchange, between the audience and the musicians on the bandstand, leading to new directions and sort of, reminding us the value of music to transport us somewhere else, which is ultimately, why we are so grateful for Charlie Parker, for sort of showing the way to another universe.
Yeah, I will never forget Harry Gibbs, the old vibraphonist, was talking to me about, Charlie Parker stories. And, he started it all off by saying that man was just dropped out of a UFO onto planet Earth. And I always just think about that because, he was amazing. But Kevin, hey, thank you for the music. Thank you for taking time out. It's great to catch up with you. And good luck with everything as we move forward. I hope that, everything continues to go in favor of the artists because they've been the longest suffering throughout all of this chaos that's happened in COVID.
I really appreciate it, Joe. Hey, thanks a lot.
Thanks for listening and tuning in to another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest cats in New York, Kansas City, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. And thanks to Kevin for his class, cool, and time. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino in the iTunes Store. Visit Neon Jazz at youtube.com, and for everything Neon Jazz all the time, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.